right, well, I guess we'll get started.
Nice.
Welcome, everyone, to the JS Urban Adventures debate. My name is Stubborn One. I'll be the moderator of today's debate. Today's question is, can Christian values save America? So, just a real rough rundown of everything. First, we have to ask, does America actually need to be saved at all? A poll from NPR and Ipsos in 2022 found that 70% of Americans felt that the country was in crisis and at risk of failing. A Gallup.com poll conducted in 2022 found a record low of only 38% reporting that they feel proud to be an American. In 2020, the U.S.'s total fertility rate, meaning the average number of babies that a woman will have over her lifetime, dropped to the lowest level ever recorded. With birth rates and national pride at record lows, as well as a majority of Americans feeling that the country is in crisis, it seems many people would agree that America does indeed need to be saved. Today, we'll be debating whether or not Christian values would do just that. Josh will be arguing in favor of Christian values, while Freddie will be arguing against them. A recent Pew Research Center poll found that 45% of Americans say that the U.S. should be a Christian nation. With such an even split in the public opinion, this will hopefully be a very productive conversation. Before we get started, I would like to provide a very rough definition of what Christian values are. A value or ethic is a principle or standard about what is important in one's life. Christian values historically refers to values derived from the teachings of Jesus Christ. The term has various applications and meanings, and specific definitions can vary widely between denominations, geographical locations, and different schools of thought. That definition from Wikipedia and compassion.com shows that Christian values can be a rather broad term. While researching the topic, I found various examples of Christian values. Love, compassion, and respect seem to be included in nearly every list of Christian values that I found. Others include such things as hope, patience, self-control, peace, courage, faithfulness, and justice, as well as many more. AP Christian Schools website defines Christian values as those which promote Christ-like behavior. I'm sure both debaters will have their own views on what Christian values are, and they will undoubtedly enlighten us as to what those views are. Now, allow me to introduce our debaters. First, arguing that Christian values can save America, we have the Dreaded Conservative. Josh is a podcaster, commentator, product reviewer, Bible thumper, pro gamer, card master, canine wrangler, hot sauce chef, outdoorsman, and host of the most entertaining channel on YouTube, JS Urban Adventures. His fans are already well aware that he is a master of debating, but those who don't know him yet are about to find out in real time. Next, arguing that Christian values cannot save America, we have Freddie J. Fred is a self-proclaimed descendant of the Egyptian pharaohs, a legendary troll, and a relentless antagonist who is a master of exposing and exploiting his opponent's weaknesses. On multiple occasions, Freddie has debated podcast hosts and their entire chat audience at the same time, and he claims he has still never lost a single argument. Freddie has even been an opposition caller on such renowned shows as The Hake Report and The Jesse Lee Peterson Show.
That's right.
This is sure to be an exciting debate with these two impressive minds and strong opinions going head to head. Let's keep it civil, and during the open dialogue section, please try not to interrupt one another. So, it was agreed upon beforehand, I got to edit this because we changed it. It was agreed upon beforehand that Josh will deliver his opening statement first. So, a quick rundown of how we plan to run things. First, we'll have a 3 to 5 minute, no real cap on the bottom, but a 5-minute cap on top, 3 to 5 minute opening statement from Josh. Then we'll follow that with a 3 to 5 minute opening statement from Freddie. Next, we'll have a 3 to 5 minute rebuttal statement from Fred, followed by a 3 to 5 minute rebuttal statement from Josh. The opening statement is where both debaters will explain their arguments, and the rebuttal statement is an opportunity to debunk or critique their opponent's arguments. Then we'll go to an open dialogue for 30 minutes, which will basically be a back and forth debate. Finally, there will be a 3 to 5 minute closing argument from Josh, followed by a 3 to 5 minute closing argument from Freddie. The closing arguments are a brief wrap up and summary of the main argument. And at the end of all that, there will be time for a Q&A segment. So viewers, get your questions ready. I have to curate the questions, so keep it clean, folks. If you guys start trolling the chat, that's just going to make more reading for me. And with just the one eye, it's going to be twice the work. So come on. I'd really like to see some good questions for both debaters from everybody. Let's get started. Oh, the debate going up.
Oh, the debate going up. All right. We starting the clock? I don't know if anybody actually has a clock. I have a cell phone.
So let's go 3 minutes for Josh's opening statements on can Christian values save America? Josh.
All right. As America falls ever deeper into moral depravity, economic depression, and overall weakness, I assert that the only solution to save our country is a complete and total return to Christian values. Over the course of this debate, I will prove irrefutably that the biblical Christian principles of loving God and your neighbor and following God's commandments will greatly improve our country's economy and family values, reduce crime rates, and absolve issues caused by diversity and multiculturalism. I will prove that by abiding by God's law and objective morality therein, man's law will be made obsolete and our country would reach unimaginable levels of greatness. My first and most urgent point is the benefit national Christian values would have on the family unit, birth rate, and overall mental health of parents, and more importantly, children. With strong Christian values and by following God's order, a man would be able to work and provide for his wife and children on one income, enabling his wife to focus on raising her kids instead of paying the bills. One parent income would once again be sufficient to pay for all the needs of the family. With Christian mothers staying home and educating children, public school indoctrination becomes a thing of the past, and mental illness in children would be radically reduced. Birth rates will increase, abortion would be unheard of because sex would be reserved for married couples building families. No more welfare moms, no more transgender 6-year-olds, no more fathers made homeless by court costs and child support payments. The family is the most important aspect of our nation's strength, and Christians know and value this above all else. Another benefit to higher birth rates and population growth is an improved economy. Our current economic strength is collapsing before our eyes. With Joe Biden's failed Marxist/socialist/communist, all atheist policies, we see inflation and gas reaching record highs, stocks and the value of the dollar plummeting, and housing costs are crippling the middle class and below in many cities. With Christian capitalism comes charity. Loving your neighbor would replace government taxation and redistribution of wealth through socialist programs. Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard others as more important than yourself. Do not look out for your own interests, but also the interests of others." Cultural and religious diversity is not a strength. It is a weakness. A religiously homogenous nation is a strong, truly united nation. Lastly, I think it's obvious that Obviously, I think it's obvious that strong national Christian values would dramatically reduce crime rates, suicide, drug overdoses, and all other generally degenerate behavior that is considered normalized in America today. True Christians love their neighbor as themselves, and in doing so, follow the 10 Commandments, which our founding fathers used as a basis for our laws. God's law trumps man's law, and by following his law, crime would dissolve. Murder, theft, adultery, and hate in general would cease to exist if everyone was a brother and sister in Christ. Of course, this is a utopian idea, but it's also undeniable. I anticipate my opponent will attempt to invalidate Christianity as untrue, but this is not the subject up for debate. He may suggest other religions as better options, which I will easily refute. To win, he must show that Christian values would in fact further harm, or at least in no way help, the current state of our nation. I believe his attempts will be futile and only serve to prove me correct. What's my time at?
That's it.
You still have
7 minutes.
You still have a minute and a half left.
A minute and a half.
If you need it.
I don't need it. That's good enough. That'll do.
All right. Thank you, Josh. That was a strong opening statement. Now let's move on to Freddie for your opening statement, Fred.
All right. I want to say that with Christian values, this is with no speech, straight to the public, with Christian values that you believe in today, because the KRST, the Christ lineage, was before Jesus, and it was Christians before Jesus. So let me explain to you how those Christian values will work, but the revision will not. The revision of the Christian values today make women subjective to men, and also it has slaves being obedient to its master. So if you're thinking you can put man in between God and another man, it's a wrong way to lead into the future, because you're going to have a nation of obedient slaves being led by the wicked. Okay, and on top of that, another thing, the guilt and shame that Christians live with, it turns into psychological and mental disorders when they always thinking or feeling guilty for having sexual thoughts. It's been proven that they the Catholic Church, when they made the Trinity and wrote the Bible with Adam and Eve, they wrote the Bible with Adam and Lilith first, and they removed Lilith because she was equal to Adam. And that's when the revisions hurt. So the Christianity that's now divided in between Baptists, Apostolics, Pentecostals, all those different ones. Which one are you talking about is going to save America? You need to be clear, because Christianity is a broad umbrella these days, and some people believe in free will and some don't. And with Paulinism being that you're born in total depravity and we can do no good, and even our righteous deeds will go as evil. It's a backwards thinking for people to move forward, to think that they were already born in sin before returning to a father, that you have to be saved, that it's okay to do what I do and I'll come to him when I'm ready, and everything will be forgiven. That's not going to lead to a better America, a better world, a better country, because everything you said Christianity does is against the values of the policies that you reflect as, you call it, socialism. Christianity is the biggest form of socialism. If you give the poor everything you have, they will never be able to enable themselves to get on their own feet. So charities and a lot of these religions with the philanthropy, Christians are not even the most highest in order in philanthropy. So today I will be showing you how Christianity, along with all of these other divisive religions around it, cannot save America, because you cannot beat somebody into submission and to praising Jesus.
Boom.
Boom.
Very nice opening statement. Is that all the time you need?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
About the same time for the both of you. Well done, both of you. I guess let's move on to Josh, if you have a rebuttal statement.
Yep, I got some rebuttals. All right. So let's rebuttal these in the order that he said them. So first, the plagiarism idea. If you believe that Christianity is plagiarized from an older religion, but that older religion's values were good, then Christian values are still good and they would still help America. So that doesn't disprove what I'm saying. You're just saying there's another religion that does the same thing, and that we took their ideas, which you also believe are good ideas. So how does that make them bad ideas? It's not going to hurt America that we're using the same values as you. We just plagiarized them from you. But anyway, and also I don't believe they were plagiarized, but assuming that's the case. And then you were talking about the women being subjective to men as if that's a bad thing. I don't know how that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. And the slaves, when they're masters, as if that's a bad thing. Everybody who has a job and gets a paycheck is a wage slave. Everybody's a slave. If you have a landlord and you pay bills, you're a slave. If you live in America and you pay taxes, you're a slave to taxes. Everybody's a slave. The Bible says if you're a slave, do the best you can to be a good slave. And if you're a slave master, do the best you can to be a good slave master. Take care of your employees, take care of them, pay them, provide them housing, room and board, all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see how
socialism? Is that socialism?
Hold on. You can't interrupt my rebuttal. Hold on, I'm getting to the socialist part.
Okay.
I'm getting
No,
to the
let him
social.
finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, it's not open yet. We're just doing and then I'll rebuttal these, and then you come back and you get one more time, and then we'll go open. But and then guilt and shameful thoughts. You were talking about guilt and shame, the guilt and shame that Christians face in their sexual thoughts. All of those things are attacks from Satan. Those are the thoughts and the guilt and the shame. When you're truly a Christian, you put your guilt and your shame on Christ. I don't believe in free will. I'm okay with what you call Paulism, which is doctrine from Paul, or Paul's letters in the New Testament. I'm okay with those, and I agree with Paul that we're going to struggle and we need to put that on God, and he'll save us from that stuff. He'll save us from that guilt and shame. That's not really a value that we have. We don't value guilt and shame and thoughts and things like that. And then lastly, the socialism thing. This is a horrible new thing that I hear a lot of people arguing, is that Jesus was a socialist because he took care of the poor and he gave food to people and he healed people for free and all this stuff. Jesus never went to Caesar and asked him for money from the citizens to take care of those people and feed those people. Jesus did that of himself out of charity. Charity and socialism are two different things. If the government, socialism is where the government takes your money, takes everybody's collective money, and then they redistribute it to other people who are on welfare, who, and a lot of times don't want to work, which is why socialism doesn't work, because some people just aren't going to work. But this is an argument about socialism, but charity, Christian charity, is far different. If you're a capitalist and you're a Christian, you're going to make more money. And then when you have more money and you have the ability to help other people, you're just naturally going to take care of those other people, because that's what we're told to do. It's not the government coming and taking my money out of my paycheck to give it to somebody, me paying into Social Security that I could die tomorrow and I'm never going to see that money. Why should I have to pay into that money? That's socialism. But that's it. That's my rebuttal.
Excellent. Thank you, John.
Where am I gonna start? All right. You said it's good for the women to be subjective to their husband. All right. You said socialism. All right. Where did Jesus get his money from? He was a carpenter. He didn't have any money. They started a tithing system. He was mad at the money changers. He flipped over the tables, right? So this charity would not be needed if it wasn't for the money changers thieving from the society and holding it amongst themselves. That's what Jesus did not like. So if you want to talk about how Jesus, and they afford to give charity today and enable those to keep the sheep needing them. So, Jesus is real when we come through with this bread truck to give y'all some sandwiches on the side of the road. Thank you, Lord, as they do in missionaries in Africa every day. But that's socialism. That is not gonna help the people. Okay. And then you're saying, yeah, Paulinism or original sin. So even before Paulinism, they had the original sin of Adam and Eve, correct? And when they bit the apple, they hid from God, like God's not omniscient. Like he doesn't know who's writing this down from the beginning. Do you see how the revision is copied and plagiarized to whereas even in Matthew 24:4, he says, he comes to talk to his disciples, and he was like, many men will come, don't let them deceive you. They will say, I am Christ. Don't let men deceive you. He was talking to the disciple, and it's not hard. Why would he be concerned about people thinking in his time that they'll come to the disciples and think that he was Jesus? Somebody else would be Jesus. How can anybody come? Why would he be concerned with, even after he's dead, to thinking somebody's going to come back and say he's Jesus, that he is Jesus? He's saying that I am Christ. There was a Christ before the religion of Christianity, and it's KRST. Anyone in the chats can look it up, and it's an African concept.
What was the verse?
Matthew 24:6.
Okay.
And then okay. And then in Malachi, the Son of Righteousness refers to the Son of the one God of the ancient Africans. And even Pope Leo X in 1515 said, and I quote, "What a prophet have not the," he said, "What a prophet have not this fable of Christ brought to us." So he even said out of his own mouth, "What a prophet, a lot of money has this fable of Christ brought to us." Pope Leo X in 1515, after the Bible's up in print now, and then they getting money from the churches. It's a no taxation, control of the population. It's a mind control, and it never was supposed to be the slavery and the way they set it up with the forefathers when they started giving blacks the Bible and slavery. It was never supposed to. They were never supposed to be citizens. They were supposed to keep obeying that Bible and be obedient slaves. And they that didn't have nothing to do with the Civil War. If y'all would have won the Civil War, Christianity would still be in the South. So slavery was fine with the Christianity. Christianity was fine with the slavery. But it's like compassion and truth is going to unveil. This is the age of Aquarius, the age of information, and the age of the fish has passed. No more religion and false idol worshiping going on now, because there's too much information and people are waking up, becoming individuals. And individualism is the biggest threat to Christianity, because you have to always come to Jesus to be a good person, or you're going to be living in sin. Or
1 minute left.
That's 5.
No, I said 1 minute left.
Oh, okay. He said something else. Let me tap on something else real quick. I ain't gonna waste it. I had something else real quick. I got a lot of stuff, but we staying on these topics right here. The women's vote. You don't think women need to be in politics, or they should be subservient, staying at home with the kid and homeschooling? That right there alone will keep them from being social human beings, learning how to interact with other kids while everybody else is at school. They're going to be computer overweight, obese kids that go from homeschool to the game and never learn how to interact in society.
All right.
Check. That's you.
All right. Excellent. All right. Real fast. Let me just, if anybody was going to look up Freddie mentioned KRST. I found a lot of I found like a radio station, a bunch of stuff. It's the KRST Unity Center is where you'll find information for that. All right.
Oldest version, but yeah, they'll give you information on where it came from and all the predates Jesus and all that.
All right. Now we'll move on to an open dialogue segment. I think we agreed on 30 minutes, guys, for the open dialogue.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 to 45, give or take. We'll just roll with it. Let's see.
Excellent. All right. Well, we've heard the opening statements. We've heard a rebuttal from each party. Let's go.
Right,
try to keep on topic. Let's remember, we just heard from Freddie, so maybe Josh can get us started out. Let's remember the topic is, can Christian values save America? Let's go.
All right. So first off, tithing. You were talking about tithing. Tithing doesn't have to be done with money. Tithing can be done through time. And then you were talking about some Pope stuff, some Catholic Pope stuff. I don't subscribe to that. I don't really consider Catholics the same as Christians. That's not the values that I'm talking about. Well, the values that we have that match, I agree with that. And then the things that we differ on, maybe they're harmful, maybe they're not. You know, this could be, you were talking about the philanthropy thing. And so 64% of Christians in America donate to charities. The highest amount of donations in America come from Mormons. But worldwide, you got me on this the other night. Worldwide, Muslims give the most to charity. So I would say that's a good thing. That's something that Christians and Muslims apparently have in common. But where we differ is where there's a problem, because, you know, they'd be throwing gay people off buildings and doing stuff like that. And I'm not okay with
What's
that.
wrong with the United States giving charity? Reparations. You call that socialism. You find with all of these Christian, and that's a plus when they give to charity, but when the United States give to charity, it's a problem. Explain that to me.
How does the United States get money to give to
Socialism.
charities?
Yeah, the social program, the food
That's
stamps, the
theft.
welfare.
That's
That's
theft.
theft.
Yeah, theft goes against my Christian values. You can't steal from people to give it to other people who need it.
That's charity.
No, that's theft. Socialism is where the government takes your money forcefully. What if I barely have enough money to take with this economy? Oh, and also something else you said. Well, let me.
What?
I'm bouncing.
What?
Something else you were saying is this is the time where people are going to start following these. You're right about that. You're right, and that's why
it's declining. Christianity's declining.
Yes, and what do you see else declining? Morals, the whole world, the economy, everything's collapsing.
No, maybe it's collapsing because Christianity been in effect for what, 2,000 years?
Yeah.
Well, less than that, right? It's only the year 2023. That's when Jesus supposed to have been born. 0, right? So where has Christianity led America in 2,000 years, but to the gutter? It's less.
But we were doing well.
It was worse back then.
No, we were doing well when we were founded up until about the 50s when they started bringing communism.
Black people and women were doing way worse.
Black people and women were doing way worse.
Is the GDP compared to now and then is retarded stupid.
What? Just because of slavery, black people were doing worse. They were building better families. They were sticking together, making better families. They were starting businesses.
Yeah.
The first millionaire in America was a black woman.
Yes, in slavery you couldn't have a family. They sold you kids.
Not always. There were some bad. I'll agree there were some bad slave owners, but not all slave owners were bad.
See, this goes to the fact why Christianity, they're ill-informed. They being CRT. They don't want to be informed. They are stuck to religion and they won't move their feet out of a box. They done close themselves off to thinking, to normal thinking and rationalization because of what a book says and what a man wrote. And this is where we hit it.
You got to show me a better box to go into, or is it better outside the box?
No, listen. When it was comedic spirituality, the
comedic spirituality.
Yes, comedic.
Where are they at now?
We right here on YouTube. We everywhere.
I don't see no comedic empire.
Because you're not looking for them.
Where's this epic comedic country? I think if
look. We passed it. I'm the only one that's breaking probably the code by even explaining it to y'all, because y'all are already the system that systematically was put in place.
That sounds like
to be citizens. Yes, it wasn't even put in place.
Hold on. So your comedic religion has a code that says you're not supposed to share it with other people, because that's kind of like Muslims, where they'll kill you if you get converted, or if you're trying to convert somebody to Christianity or Judaism. Muslims will kill you. They'll cut your head off. That's not good.
I don't know nothing about that. No, hell no.
But you just said that comedic value, you might be out of line by even telling us about this. So you're not allowed to share your religion with people?
I'm just saying I can. It's information. You don't want to look it up. Y'all don't want to uncover the lie that's been told. If you want to believe Adam and Eve while you do your homework and find out that there was more Trinity stories and first virgin births stories before Jesus and Mary, then you're going to stay blind to what they want you to believe. Why do you think the Dark Ages lasted for 1,000 years, or you'll be anathematized to think different, cast out of the whole community, out of the church? I'm not talking no Jewish stuff. I'm talking about
but this isn't on the top. You're saying that Christianity is not real, or it was stolen, or it's plagiarized, but you need to show me that countries that are majority Christian are degenerate countries, show me high crime rates in Christian countries. Show me something like that.
Right here. This is high crime rate in a Christian country. We got mass incarceration.
I don't consider us a Christian country anymore. We have open borders. We have immigration going crazy, which a Christian value is to build a wall.
You don't think America was built on Christian values?
It was built on it, but around the 50s, we started having Marxism, which is atheist, inherently atheist, creep into America, and communism and socialism, welfare programs, the social the thing everybody's always crying about, that social program, Social Security, Medicaid. Everybody needs Medicaid. So we're getting all these communist programs coming in, and people are losing sight of what we were founded on.
When you only have a pick between socialism or slavery, what are you going to pick? To be equal.
Between socialism or slavery?
It's no other two choices. It's
nobody's
slavery,
bringing back slavery.
Capitalism or socialism.
What do you?
That means them are the slaves two options.
Do you think if we become
them to pick slavery over socialism?
Those aren't the two options.
Yes, it is.
No.
You're not even a citizen. You're looking for equal rights. That's what socialism is. Equality.
You think if Christianity, you think if everybody in America.
That's why they give to the poor, because they try to close the equality. That's it's a gap.
The equality gap. Yeah, it's not real.
It is real.
No.
4.4% of blacks.
That's called the Pareto distribution. That's called the Pareto distribution.
Money in the U.S. goes to 4.4%.
A small
14 points.
A small percentage of people are going to be the most successful and do the best. That's a hierarchy. That's Pareto distribution.
Are you saying these problems come from Christianity, Fred? Or I don't. How is this related? How is this relating to Christian values? Are those problems stemming from Christianity?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
He's trying to say if we all became Christians in America, that we're going to bring back slavery. We're going to start shipping people over to be our slaves.
No. I'm saying if you like charities and what the church did, they sold more slaves than anybody. Over in them other countries,
the church sold more slaves than anybody.
Yes, they was in the
I call BS on
Catholic
that.
Church.
No,
yes, they was.
I think Black Pharaohs sold more slaves than anybody.
What do you think the Crusades were?
What do you think why are all the major slave trades in Africa? Cleopatra had a slave trade. Mansa Musa had a slave trade. I think black people sold more slaves than anybody, Freddie.
Listen, slavery's wrong, right?
Slavery's wrong? I don't necessarily think slavery's.
That's why Christianity is not good for America. You can't say slavery is wrong, and
it might not be a good idea. Christian. And there could be wrong slave owners.
This was added.
Slavery is not inherently wrong. I don't think slavery is inherently wrong. Okay, I'm not going to talk over you.
Okay. You say slavery's not inherently wrong.
Right.
You made me forget my.
But there could be some problems with it. There could be a bad slave owner, just like there could be a bad boss at your work, just like there could be a bad preacher. There could be all those things.
So do you think a slave can get to God through his slave owner?
Huh?
Do you think a slave can get to God through his slave owner?
A slave can get to God through his slave owner?
Yeah. Can a slave be saved through his slave owner?
No. God saves. Because God saves, not the slave owner.
But the slave owner is telling them not to read. How are they going to get to God?
That's a myth. White people in the South couldn't read. Nobody could read in the South. They were all dumb.
Blacks were forbidden to read.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. I think that's I think that's some revisionist 1619 propaganda history. I don't think anybody in the South read.
They were forbidden to speak their own language.
Maybe they weren't allowed to go to school with the white kids.
They were forbidden to read, period.
But I think if over time, just like what happened, Christians said, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Let's end this. And we ended it. White Christian men ended slavery for all of the modern world. Now there's still more slaves.
Like ego talking. Let's say God's plan is working.
There's still more slaves than ever in the world. Huh?
This is God's plan, right? He's in control, right? You got faith, right?
God gave Satan dominion over the earth.
See, you believe that. So
Which is
that's
why
why
when we
you
don't
gotta
have
be.
God, and
You
Christian
can be
values,
humble with no emotions and be fine. That's what Christians is going to. I'm on the side of helping you, saying Christians not going to save America because it's going to make more slave people that's happy being slaves in a tent broke.
are you going to
Giving
rebuttal any of my
worshiping.
points though?
No, your points.
You don't think a Christian values would make stronger family units, a mother and a father, and then
You can't. You can't.
if
You
we have
can't
Christian
make it.
values, we believe that the mother should be raising the child while the husband sweats from his brow to provide for his family. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the men going to work, the women raising the children, educating the children, stop giving the
You know
children
how
to
many disabled men it is in the world.
a government school,
You know how
disabled
many
men.
disabled men it is in the world.
Oh, that can't work. Yeah, I know. What percentage of those men are actually disabled? Because I know a
But it
lot
was.
of disabled
It'll still
guys
throw off.
that could
Listen,
work.
it'll
They could
still
go to
throw off
work.
the balance. It'll still throw off the number. It'd be more women than men. Then what are you gonna do? When they can't get married and have kids, they're gonna grow old and die because there's not enough men out here for them.
Hell, anybody with a 9 to 5 job is considered a slave. That's what I said earlier. But it's just there's always going to be slavery.
What you call a slave is
Sorry, I
not
shouldn't be going
the
to the chat.
interpretation of what a slave was back then. So a 9-to-5 job and having freedoms and rights is not what a slave
So
is.
you're talking about a specific type of slavery that was created in Africa, not by Christians.
No, it was brought over here with Christianity.
Nah, that's not true.
You don't believe that?
Okay, and then the homeschool thing. So you think you believe that if homeschooling makes kids antisocial, I say praise God, because the social kids are all crazy.
Because they've been lied to.
Well, give them TikTok.
I ain't gonna get into the media. I'm not gonna get into the media. But who controls the pen controls the thinking of the ages.
You can talk about the media. You can say the media is destroying our children.
Controls the pen, controls the thinking of the ages. So what you see is what they want you to see.
He who controls the pen. And I agree with you on that. I think the media is degenerate and it's hurting kids. And there's not very many Christian values in our media today. That's not what I see. I see a lot of degenerate values.
Do you think that everything that there's all right, you said you think Jesus is historical facts, right? 100%. Everything Jesus did, historical facts.
Well, are you saying I believe everything that they say Jesus did, he did. But I don't have evidence. I have evidence for sure that he existed and he was crucified.
Where you get this evidence from?
Tacitus, Josephus, other historians throughout history. Lots and lots of manuscripts, transcripts in different languages from different countries.
No, there's no proof of no.
That's called history. It's written and oral story. Telling stories, written and oral stories.
They had paper and pen back then.
Not in the Old Testament. The Old Testament, a lot of those stories were passed down by word of mouth.
Hebrew writings. How did they make the writings if they didn't have the pens? If you saying they was recording all of this,
they told stories. They spoke to each other, and people had better memories.
In historical documents,
it was like the Book of Eli.
Okay. But back to my point.
Let's come back to the question of values real quick. Josh, you were outlining, you mentioned like parents in the home being able to homeschool. Could you continue down on more of that? Like outline some of what you believe the Christian values that can save America are, and then we can hear if Fred disagrees with those.
Yeah.
It's mainly the family, the unity, and I'm not talking about racial unity. I don't care if we have black Christians, brown Christians, white Christians. I think the ideology is more important than the race. But I think if we brought all 2.2 billion Christians to America and every non-Christian went somewhere else, that we would have the best country. I mean, we'd have the biggest country by far, probably. Well, I don't know the population of China and India, but we'd have a huge country and it would be unstoppable, untouchable. Nobody could get close to the strength we would have in this country. But as far as the families, it would improve the families. because we would have to go back to a single parent household system, because that's a Christian value that, you know, the man should work and the woman should raise the children. And I don't think that's a negative thing. It helps the children. Um, Less mental disability. A lot of the mental illness in children is put on them by teachers and psychiatrists, women teachers who can't handle rowdy boys. So they put them on antidepressants. They send them to a school psychiatrist. Doesn't even matter if the parents object to it.
Yes, you talking, but you're not picturing what a society would look like with women and children in their homes, while there's atheists, Muslims, Catholics, evildoers, while the good Christian man's at work. Who are they going to be taking advantage of? Who are the people in poverty going to be robbing?
There's not going to be robbery, and ideally, and if everybody has Christian values,
everybody's not going to be
Christian. Don't steal.
No, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to banish you if you're not Christian.
You need to be able to protect your wife, and her best protection is probably on the job than sitting at home with your most prized possession and all your money and guns.
Well, it's a good
work.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing that Jesus said, "Sell your garments and buy a sword." It's a good thing Jesus supported self-defense, because everybody's going to have an AR-15, and the woman's going to blast any atheist who happens to wander into their house.
In a perfect world, yeah, I've seen that movie.
This is all hypothetical.
You're dreaming, I know.
Right.
You're seeing in the real place where people have real emotions and they're suffering today, and they told to pray about it and it's going to be okay. That's why they turning away from Christianity. There's no answers.
But I don't think you've proven anything I've said.
You're going to be okay.
I don't think you've proven anything that I've said wrong yet. I mean, you said that homeschooling thing causes antisocial kids.
Women trying to downgrade women and say they can't work, need to stay at home with that's not empowering.
I'm not saying they can't work. If they don't have children and they're not married, they can get a job.
I don't think.
Nah.
We gonna win then. See, that's gonna end Christianity.
Because that would go against Christian values of not putting women in positions of power over men. If the women are voting for the leader, say all the women decide to vote for a guy because he's handsome, which has happened. Bill Clinton.
Yes.
How many presidents you think got?
JS, this is my point. When you have multiple religions and you saying only one sex in your religion can vote, there's going to be other religion laws you go by, because you're shortening yourself to saying women can't vote, and that's a whole half of the population that's going to lose when they got a Muslim running against a Christian or a Catholic running. There
wouldn't be a Muslim running for office in a Christian nation.
Yeah, all right.
We wouldn't let that happen.
Jeffrey just got Speaker of the House, didn't he? Ain't that his name? Jeffrey, a Muslim?
I don't believe in democratic elections. I believe if elections are going to be done at all, it has to be a privilege, not a right. You need to be a landowner. You need to be a business owner. You need to be a man. You need to be over 30 years old. You need to pass a civics test that shows you know what you're talking about, because some people probably shouldn't be voting because they have no idea what they're voting for.
A lot of Christians say voting is a God-given right.
And I'm not saying women should stop voting currently. The way the system is, and this is what a lot of people.
That's a hypocrite.
This is what people aren't going to understand. In our current economy, in our current world, women should vote and women should work. They have to. They have to go to work to pay for the house because our system is set up that way, and that's because it's not Christian.
You saying going in reverse is going to make America better?
Because I feel like we were better back then. I feel like I was.
You wasn't even around back then.
I was born in the wrong time, man. I feel like I should have been born in like the 1900s.
No, you got an idea of what the past was, and it wasn't that.
I got that idea from reading books and listening to old heads.
Or media, and they want you to think y'all.
I don't watch mainstream media. I don't have cable.
It's all history. It's his story.
You know why I don't watch it?
It's a whole program started with the Adam and Eve. God told y'all come out, like somebody's in there writing it down. Oh, Jesus was with him, but the hand of Moses was recording this, and Moses was born later, but he was raised Egyptian with the first God. Of course he would be. So he get all the priesthood of the 42 laws of Maya, or negative confessions and the principles, and then run off with 10 of them. Of course, it makes perfect sense. But when y'all take the Ankh and turn it into a cross because you want to take the woman's wound off of it. That's the only way y'all can get them to obey y'all, because y'all don't have no game like the melanin provides us. You just need a little game instead of trying to control them by a book. They ain't going for it.
You're
Listen,
rambling.
I'm not no simp tonight. Every man for himself, but you gotta let a woman be a chance to be a pimp. If she won't be a pimp, she can pimp. But don't be like, nah,
Freddie
she gonna
wants
take
equality.
women from me.
Would you let a woman pimp you?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I never let her. That's too short. Album number 10.
He's got too many albums. Why not? Why wouldn't you? It's equality. It's equal. It's equal. You got to give the woman a chance to be the pimp sometimes, right?
Hey, to somebody else that need guidance, that's been on his laptop since he was 13, and yeah, he's gonna get a whole new experience. But she's gonna guide him to the right way if he's really loyal and know his role, and he ain't get caught out.
What are we talking about? This is the opposite of Christian values, guys. This is how America is led down the drain. This is why, right here.
You don't be concerned with them. They their own religion, like you're not concerned with Muslims.
Look,
You're
immigration.
not going in their house saying that's not right. Y'all cut that out. Y'all Muslims over here. No,
immigration would be tightened up. Less multiculturalism. If you want to come to America, you got to be a Christian. We build a wall. We keep everybody else out unless you're Christian. So we already know they're based. Then the economy, cheaper housing. What?
Y'all are already a minority to people of color.
Abortion, no more abortion, no more crime, lower crime rates.
Y'all not gonna make laws against people of color no more.
We're divided right now because of race.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah. By the media.
The Republicans are 95% white and they got 4% Mexican and 1% black.
I'm not even talking about the Republican Democrat divide. I'm talking about this race stuff that we got. The media, you're right about that. The media is pushing this race war stuff on us. You're always worried about black and white when that's not what's important. That's the physical. We should be worried about the spiritual. So if you're my brother in Christ, then we're going to get along. It doesn't matter. Am I black or white? It doesn't matter.
No, it do matter.
It matters
because
to you.
Y'all uplift another whole people. Listen, my job is to awaken the minds of my people, and then once y'all see what we doing, y'all can come along if you want. That's why I'm breaking the rules, because this is supposed to be like an ancient spirituality what we practiced when we was the first people on earth that ended up traveling all over the world and changing to location. You change your skin. We're all human beings, but what happened was we went away from our religion of one God, and y'all took that first commandment and then turned it into a multiple God. So it'll never last as long as you got more than one religion and everybody think their God is number one, uno, and it's different.
So you agree?
You got the same God with a whole bunch of different commandments for each sect. It ain't going to work. And if I chose, I'm not saying nobody else chose, to go to the mouth of the river and start drinking before I get revisions that man done tamper with, because they lost the reading of how to read hieroglyphs until 1700. The Greeks knew how to read them a little bit, and then they lost the lake. They lost it until the Rosetta Stone was discovered, and that is what helped them discover how to discover the hieroglyphs. By then, Christianity was already blown the fuck out of the water. So from 1800 on up, they've been trying to suppress that, but it's coming out because the hieroglyphs can be deciphered now, and the truth is coming out. During the time of Jesus, they lost all the knowledge of depicting the hieroglyphs.
You're rambling. You're talking about Egypt and hieroglyphs and how Christianity was stolen from Egypt. This is exactly in my opening what I said you were going to do the whole time.
But the truth is in stone, and it's always going to come out. And if you already got Christianity,
tell me how Christian values are hurting America.
Because it downgrades women. You don't want them to vote.
Okay.
It creates racism. Ishmael and Isaac, I'm trying to stay away from.
So why were there? Hold on. Let's go one at a time. Hold on. Let's go one at a time. Let's go one at a time. Okay. So there are studies that show that women who work their whole lives, even if they make a lot of money, in their 30s, they're not happy. Why? Because that's not what their body was meant to do. They're
You know why?
happier.
Because they probably was indoctrinated to a system say every sex thought's a sin, and they
No,
feel
it's
guilty
because
their
they're
whole
trying to
life.
be a man and they're not following their God-given role to be a mother and take care of children.
No, the
That
Bible's
is an
not making
important,
sense to them, and
that
they
isn't
waking up.
downgrading women. I'd argue that's the most important job in the world.
What?
Being a mother, raising children, and educating the
But telling
children.
them that they can't. No,
Not
if you have a
sending them
daughter, don't be like,
to some government ran school where they get taught by some liberal crazy nut job about gender theory and race theory, critical race theory, and 69. Not that, but a mother raising and educating her children. That's beautiful. That's amazing. That's not downgrading women. And as far as the vote thing, if we lose half the vote, it's the same.
Who raised and educated her?
Huh?
Who raised and educated the mother that's raising and educating the kids?
Ideally,
they got
her
the
mother.
Same knowledge. They not going back to school. So
And her mother's mother and her mother's mother.
Knowledge from nowhere. Where?
See, the same way that the cycle of degeneracy works, and how if two bad parents have a kid and they have a horrible relationship, hold on, and you ranted for like 10 minutes. Let me talk. Two parents are in a toxic relationship. The husband's beating the woman. They're doing drugs. They're splitting up and dating other people, blah, blah. They have a kid. Guess what? That kid's not going to turn out too hot. I guarantee it. But if you have two parents who are going to church and they're praying together and they're teaching the children, the husband's working hard and he's coming home and the wife is taking care of the children, raising the children, that kid's going to come out pretty good, I bet, 99% of the time.
So you don't think if that kid get adopted, he'll have a good life?
The first kid? No. That's the story that I played it on the stream the other day. That 6-year-old who she was banging her brother's head and then stabbing her brother with a pencil. She was adopted by two Christian people, and they were great parents to these two kids. But these two kids in the first year of their life, they were raised by abusive parents. And now this girl's.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying if the first one you said she was pregnant and she was beating him up, and you said pretty sure that baby's gonna be born pretty shitty. If that baby's born and gave away to adoption and never witnessed none of that, you think that baby's gonna be raised like a piece of shit?
Yeah, because it's
no.
I mean, it depends on how young they are.
Why would they still have adoption today?
Maybe if the kid is adopted,
stories are so successful, and none of these turn into Chucky.
Maybe if the kid is adopted when they're like a day old or very, very, very young. But even as early as 6 months,
and they having babies, and that baby's gonna be shit.
Even as early as 6 months, they've shown that childhood trauma as early as 6 months old, they'll still remember it. Years later, they'll say they had dreams about getting beaten by their parents.
Now you believe in diagnosis.
I didn't diagnose anything. That's spiritual trauma. That's what I believe in, is that it's not mental illness, it's spiritual trauma.
No. The spiritual trauma is the parents telling the kid that they're born in sin.
I don't think the parents, the parents don't need to tell the kid that.
They read it in the Bible every day. There's no righteousness. I got you. Hold on.
It's Genesis.
No.
What, 2? I don't know exactly what you're going to read, but
no, I was going to read the
original sin is a debatable thing
in the Bible that we need to save America is in Matthew 10:8. And it's heal the sick. Heal means therapy for the sick. That means the ones that's already under the psychosis. Raise the dead. That's the people that don't even know they've been manipulated. Cleanse the lepers, and cast out devils. That's what I do.
You do that?
Yeah, I'm trying to heal the sick. You're under a psychosis.
What? You still?
Yeah, Christianity is a psychosis.
All right. So I already debunked.
We gotta raise the dead.
Hold on.
Ancestors.
Let's get back
to the Father. Raise the dead. Resurrection. The first resurrection story. It came with Horus.
He's making this. He's making
I
this a
saw.
preach about my yacht debate.
No, so I'm
Well,
teaching you the theft.
Yeah.
Matthew 10:8. You can look it up.
Well, hold on. We were working through
That
your.
wasn't the one I was looking for at first. Hold on.
Go
It's
ahead.
right here on one of these pages.
You gonna say something, stubborn?
You can read the chats. I want
no,
to know what they're saying.
I was gonna say come back, but if he's going back to what he was saying, then
Yeah.
No.
Remember, I stopped you and I said, let's work through them one at a time. And the first one you said was it degrades the mothers, right? And I debunked that. I rebutted that and said, no, it's actually beautiful and glorious.
You didn't debunk that.
What's the next one? Slavery.
You didn't debunk that.
Oh, you said slavery is going to come back. We're past that. That's no.
Racism in the Bible.
Racism in the Bible?
Yeah, when Noah was asleep and Seth touched him, and he blamed Ham, and Ham was supposed to be lineage is black. They cursed him. Curses in the Bible of people. White delight.
Well, white delight's
But
Mormon.
white people already thinking
White delight's Mormon.
racism.
I don't think there's racism in the Bible. There's tribalism in the Old Testament.
No, I just told you where it was at.
But I am talking about some Old Testament stuff because Christians also believe in the Old Testament, but we don't just believe in the Old Testament. So
Yeah.
but there's not I don't really, I'd consider it more tribalism than racism. I think everybody had the same skin color in that area because that's how skin color works.
What? Hell no.
The reason some places like America have all different skin colors is because of multiculturalism and immigration things. People come here because it's a great place because it was founded on Christianity, but then they bring there all these different religions and we become a melting pot, which is a communist buzzword. We're not a melting pot. We shouldn't be, ideally. Now I guess we are, but I don't care about the skin color. I don't care where you're from. You got to assimilate to the values we have here. That's why you came here. That's why we were doing so well.
No, that's not right. That ain't why I came here, to assimilate to the values, because they didn't never plan on us to be citizens.
You were born here. What do you mean?
Exactly.
What if?
I mean, I was planning to be a citizen.
What if some? You don't think there were any slaves who were gracious to be brought to America in the situations that they were in?
Hell no. We already had a concept of God.
I don't think so. I think the people who were brought over here were people who were defeated in battle.
Before colonialism and all that.
They were defeated in battle by other black tribes, and they were sold by other black people to Arabs, and they were transported around from Africa.
That's your point. Let me your talking point.
But I think this is the best place they could have wound up. And if they hadn't wound up here, those same people would have wound up in Asian or Middle Eastern as slaves in those areas where those slaves are treated much, much worse.
So it's all God's plan?
I'm thinking some of those slaves that came into America were treated better as slaves in America than they were living in Africa. Maybe not all of them. And maybe some of the slave masters were horrible, evil people. But, they got room, they got board, they got food. And then as far as the reparations thing goes, as far as you were talking about, I didn't even get to that earlier. The reparations thing, how are you going to DNA test everybody? Because what if I have slavery roots and you have slave owner roots? Do you have to pay me reparations?
How do Christians consider where to give their money out as philanthropists?
Huh? What? How do Christians decide where to give their money to?
Yeah, do they do DNA tests to see who they give their
No, you can look around and see who's poor. You can look around and see the people who, and also
you done answered your reparation questions. You can look around.
But that's not true, because you can't look around and see who was a slave or had slave in their history. Just because you're black doesn't mean you had slave heritage.
If they already making good money, they don't need it. This is the help of the whole of a black community.
This is just you just want some handouts.
No, I wouldn't be the one getting. I'm already doing good. I'm living in Beverly Hills.
You just want some handout. But anyway.
No, I'm not. I'm saying like Jesus, give it to the poor.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should give the poor. And I didn't even bring up the poverty thing because as a Christian, I know that the poor will always be among us. That's Jesus said that.
Why?
The poor will
Why? In
always be among
Christianity,
us.
no matter what,
Huh?
no matter what, poverty is always gonna be amongst you.
Yeah, poverty. The poor will always be amongst us because there's always going to be either infirm people or people who are just lazy and don't want to
Slaves
work.
and poor. Yeah, that's how the Bible set up. It shouldn't be. There's still gonna be poor people if the whole nation was
No, that's common
Christian.
sense.
Why would there be poor people? China just pulled itself out of poverty.
China has people locked in their coffin apartments, which are 8x4 apartments, and they can't leave. They have bars on the door. What are you talking
They
about?
got
There are
COVID
videos of them
restrictions.
all in their balconies screaming bloody murder in China. And China doesn't have any Christianity. You'll get killed if you're a Christian in China. You don't want to move to China. Nobody wants to
I
damn
ain't
move to
saying
China.
that. I'm saying it ain't no poverty over there. Ain't nobody living on the street.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it's because everybody's poor.
You know how many people it is? That means a lot of people got some money. If you
Everybody's got a little cubby hole to live in, but they're all poor.
And a bank account with some money in it.
The money that the government allots them for the job that the government assigned to them.
It's working. What are you talking about?
That's slavery.
Job and then you get
That's slavery. Are you really taking the side of damn communist China?
You said you're in slavery right now, and this is a democracy. You said your 9 to 5 is the same slavery.
I think China has slaves.
You said your 9 to 5 is the same slavery.
Yeah, but it's different. Capitalists.
How's it different? You go to work, they pay you just like the Chinese.
Yeah, it's slavery. Yep. Jobs are slavery. There are different types of slavery, though.
It's not slavery. Because slavery's never had a bank account and have rights to go out and work a shift.
But at least in free market capitalism, if you don't like your job and you don't want to be a slave, you can go start your own and you can be the boss. You may fail, and that's your freedom. That's your free right as a Christian, God-fearing American, is to go out and fail over and over and over again until you succeed. You don't have to be a slave. Now, if you want to go get a job at McDonald's, you can be a wage slave to Mickey D's. That's fine. Or you could go do your own thing. Know your value and get the money you're worth. You want a better job? Go get a better job. You can't do that in China. They assign you the job. That's how communism works. That's equality.
That's right. You won the debate. Good job. How much time you got?
Just to keep us a little on track here, we're about out of the open dialogue here, but just to keep us on track, can either of you point out a specific problem in the country? I know we've done this a little bit already, but can one of you point out a specific problem in the country that you would say either Christianity can solve or can't? Or Christian values, rather.
Christian values cannot solve the problems of these fossils. They have a problem. With carbon dating. They can't solve these problems if the world's only supposed to be this however many years old. So carbon science.
I don't think that's what he's asking. I don't think he's asking problems explaining. He's talking about
no, as in like the question at hand, like can
societal
American
problems.
Christian values save America? What are we saving America from?
Oh, let's say protests.
What? Christian.
Yeah.
Let me give my answer, and because and I've said it a lot, but I'm gonna go back to the best way to better an economy and to increase GDP is to increase population. Now, there's two ways you can increase population. One way is to open the borders and invite people in from all over the world. That doesn't work. It's better if you have a homogenous society and you have people making babies. And who makes the most babies? The Mormons and the Christians and religious people, spiritual people, families, strong families. And that's so not only does the family thing just fix families, which is just good, making families with your wife.
Saying more babies are born out of religion than are out of wedlock?
I think I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think that religious people generally have more kids. I think in America, Mormons have the most. Mormons have like 6 kids apiece.
Yeah. I think that's on the decline.
But so families are great, but in the long term, this betters
Christianity
our
is not
economy.
going to provide for large families because you have to wait to have sex till you marry. There won't be all of the accidents that the atheists and other religions are having. So atheists and other religions that don't have to wait till marriage to get married and then can have sex without feeling no guilt, they're going to outpopulate y'all and
No, they're
make
going
the
to
rules
abort
and
the
the
kids.
laws.
And that's something I didn't
No,
that's something I didn't get
no,
to also didn't throw
no.
in
They
there
won't.
is
A lot of
abortion.
them want the kids.
No
A
more
small
abortion.
portion will abort, but at the same time, those ain't
Hey,
Christians.
Freddie, in a Christian
And some
nation,
of them are Christians.
if there was no abortion, black people would not be the minority anymore. There'd be much more than 14% of the nation would be black because you guys have the most.
I'm running to Google real quick. Hold on.
All right.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you.
But, you know, and this isn't you guys' fault. This is the society kind of pushed this on you with the welfare state and the abortion clinics and Margaret Sanger and all that, putting them in the urban places. But black women get more abortions than white women, far more. And your population wouldn't be stagnant at 13% for so long if that wasn't the case. And it's weird because black people are generally religious people. They're God-fearing people, but they've been tricked into siding with evil, with things that are not Christian values. So that's why I didn't make the debate. That's why I didn't want the debate to be can Christianity.
Hey.
Huh.
7 out of 10 abortion from women are Christian.
7 out of 10.
So what was you saying?
Abortions from women are Christian.
7 out of 10 women that have abortions are Christians. That's a fact. Look it up.
All right. Well, if that's true, that's what I was just about to say. That's why I didn't say.
Shut your ass up. You hollering
Hold
about
on. Let
Christians
me.
making more babies.
No, hold on. Let me answer.
That's 3/4.
I don't believe that, first off. But
yeah, look
assuming that's true for the debate, assuming that's true, that's not a Christian value. That's why I didn't say can Christianity save America, because I don't think the religious church, like, churches do evil things, and Christian people
but
can
Christianity.
Christian. Hold on. I'm saying Christian values, the core Christian values. If somebody is abiding by all those,
the KRST, I got you.
if everybody was abiding by the Christian values, then everything would be perfect. It's a utopia. It's a, but yeah, Christianity, there's a lot of people who claim Christian and they'll mark it on a little thing. Oh, I'm a Christian. They'll mark the box when they have their abortion. But obviously, what kind of Christian is going to the abortion clinic? That's not a Christian value. So that's why we worded it this way.
They already know they ain't gonna, because if they sin and have that baby before they marry, they know that they can't rectify that. That's why they won't have kids until they're married. Sex used to be a sin altogether. The Gnostics believe sex, you wasn't supposed to think it, have it. The monks, all of these, the old Christians that you want to return to, they will have less growth in population than you think they would.
Okay. Well,
guaranteed.
Hey, one quick pause real quick. I want to say shout out to Cali Life and other people who, man, Godson, Jamie, what's up? Cali Life, never seen you, says they're an Asian Muslim, and they've been chatting it up. I don't know who they're more mad at, me or you, but what's up, Cali Life? Welcome. And hola, everybody else in chat.
Yeah, but women need the same equal rights as men. They need to take the racism out of the Bible, because what they did to Ishmael wasn't right, and Ham's people wasn't right.
They have equal God-given rights. They have equal rights given by God. They have the same rights, but voting is not a God-given right. Voting is a political man's law. So God's law doesn't care about women voting. And also, there was more suffragists than there was more separatists than suffragists. Women who did not want to vote than women who did want to vote. It was men who gave women, politicians, men, who gave women the right to vote. They didn't even want it. because it came with bucket duty and draft duty, and they didn't want that. But then we said, oh, we'll give you the right to vote, but you don't have to have the bucket duty or the draft duty. How is that equality?
Just remember who's in charge.
But you agree that's not equality, right? They should have to be drafted. And well, back then they had to serve on the fire department to vote.
Yeah, but at the same time, they fought for it and they got it because people understood intelligence.
Like, if we're gonna have equality, then it needs to be consistent. Women can't get the right to vote and not be drafted. How's that fair?
According to your Christian values, they need to be at home. They don't know how to fight. They've been raising kids.
Women get 70 cents.
People to raise the kids to go fight.
Women get 70 cents for every dollar a man gets. That only leaves him with 30 cents.
What?
That was a joke.
How was that?
That was good. That was good. All right, let's pause it on that note. Let's pause it on that note. That puts us right at 45 minutes for our open dialogue. Good points made by all. Let's move on to our closing arguments, everybody, and then we'll open up for a Q&A. So, Josh, if you would like to give us a closing argument for the next 5 minutes.
I don't know if I'll need 5 minutes, but pretty much as suspected, he didn't really prove that Christian values would harm America. He had a couple points about how it's disrespectful to women. I rebutted that easily. It's not disrespectful to women. It's the best thing that they could possibly do. Talking about homeschool making people antisocial. That's great because the social kids are all crazy today. Just, most of the time he spent trying to say that Christianity was plagiarized from some Egyptian hieroglyphics and stuff like that. And those civilizations are failed. They don't have great economies and infrastructure, and their claim to fame are some piles of rocks. But that wasn't even what the debate was about. So, so I don't need to go into that. But yeah, he pretty much proved all my points. He hit the nail on the head when he said that we see that we're coming out of the age of whatever he said, worshiping an idol, talking about God. Yes, you can see that when you look around. You see all the crime out of control. You see just craziness everywhere. The economy's horrible. People are losing money. Birth rates are down. And illegal immigration's up. We just let people keep pouring in, and it's destroying America. We need to tighten up our border, as a Christian would do, build a wall, And God was very pro-wall. Protect ourselves. Second Amendment. People should be able to have guns. They should be able to have a sword, which a sword back then was a very expensive thing. It was a very nice thing. If you saw somebody carrying a sword back then, you knew they put a lot of money into that sword. So it's like the modern day AR-15, all modded out. So we need to defend ourselves. If we're all brothers in Christ, of course, it's utopian. It's never going to happen that everybody is a Christian, a perfect Christian, but that should be the goal. I don't like negative thinking. I think if you believe that we can't have a perfect nation under God and we can't be perfect people under God and all that stuff, you're a negative thinker, and I don't like to think that way. I'd rather think about some solutions, and the solution right now to save America is Christianity. Not Christianity, not the religious, not the churches and all these things. Churches are great, but they're not what's going to save us. It's going to be individuals finding God and having Christian values. And yeah, that's my closing statement.
That's right. Defund the church. Defund the church.
All
Individualism.
right.
Think for yourself. Don't
All
be
right,
a
Fred.
sheep.
Let's get your closing argument. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Tear it up.
Okay. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheep. Defund the church. Think for yourself. You can see the control mechanisms used by the Bible. Even they don't think Jesus is God anymore. Now it's only about God. Jesus is out the picture because he's a fake imaginary symbol for y'all to feel like y'all sins have been forgiven. So, I mean, as long as you have to be immoral to come to God, to be moral, it's never going to go in a good direction. So therefore, I say Christianity is not going to save America. It's just going to make more sheep that follow, give tithes, and obey like good Christians should. And don't worry about the bad times in their life, because Jesus is coming back. Oh, he came back, because in the Bible it says the hand of God is at hand or something. That means now. He already came. There would be no rapture and come scooping everybody up like half Christians think and half Christians don't. They're all confused. It's so many sets. So until you do your own research, find out who the one true God is, and don't worry about all these messiahs, because there were many in Jesus' times that were crucified on an electric chair, known as the cross that y'all wear today. And in that fact, the more people that wake up, the better off they're going to be, because they can save their own money, send their wife to work, have her vote for the policies that's going to help American people, and they can be two law-abiding citizens, making America double great. Instead of you do what I say, woman, and ask me for understanding Corinthians. What was that? I forgot. But anyway, I don't like my people being sheep. So therefore, beware, be a shepherd, teach others so they can be shepherds and not sheep. If you go to church for longer than 30 years and you ain't got the message, suffer and die.
Suffer and die.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Thank you both. That about wraps it up. I guess we're ready to open up for a Q&A segment.
Oh, no. Hell no.
Oh, the
I know it's
Q&A
going to be
going
bad
up.
on me.
Did you have any
They're gonna be
questions
like-
in chat that you saw?
Not at
Not
I've
any
been
that stood
watching as
out?
best I can. I really didn't see
How many
I really
people's
didn't
in there?
see any
Like 3?
questions going on yet. If
Uh,
anybody's got any questions for either Josh or Freddie,
13 right now.
Any questions?
I
I've
saw,
got-
I don't know, this Cali Life said that you can't talk about abortion because you never had to do it. I guess we're all men, so we're not allowed to talk about abortion.
Whatever, we can talk about abortion.
Right.
Abortion was in the Bible. They had an elixir.
I've never
I
been a
guess we
pro
don't-
football
I guess
player.
we don't have room for an opinion on it.
We don't have
Yeah.
room for an opinion. I've never been a pro football player. I still watch and talk about football. I still know that a fumble is bad. You're not supposed
Alright.
to do it.
No,
Well,
they know what's going on with them and who they having a baby by and how they're going to treat that baby from here on out before they even bring it into the world.
I'm sure the questions are going to start pouring in here pretty soon. I'm sure everybody's just coming up with some good ones. So in the meantime, I got a couple here. Let's see. I had to make these beforehand, so I had to kind of curate them during a little bit. Let's see. Question for Josh. Are there any non-Christian religions whose values you think could save America? Or do you think it's only Christianity?
Let me think. I don't think so because Christianity is the only religion that requires you to repent. And it also is accepting and loving of everyone, including your enemy. There's a lot of good things in the Muslim religion, let's say, where they're pulling straight from the Bible. It's just Muhammad's retelling of the Bible. So a lot of the values they have, I'm totally okay with and I agree with. There's some of them that I don't agree with, and there's small things that aren't really a big deal. But the biggest, most important things is they don't require you to repent, and they don't tell you to love your enemy. They tell you to kill your enemy.
No, all religions don't. Catholics,
But that's just one
Catholics
example,
tell
though.
you to come in here and confess to this priest in this box, and your sins, do a couple Hail Marys, and your sins are forgiven. That's repentance. That is also Roman Catholic is probably bigger than Christianity.
Yeah, but Roman Catholic, they consider themselves Christians.
No, they don't.
And for the sake of this argument,
No,
I'm
they
gonna
don't.
put Catholics in with Christians. I'm gonna say they're close enough.
Oh no, you can't do it. You might as well, but not everybody.
I mean, they
Who
believe
else
the
you got?
same. They read the same Bible I read. They believe in Jesus. They believe in the New Testament. There's just a few doctrinal differences. Like they do confession. I don't believe in confession.
See how y'all clump in. See how y'all clump together on certain things.
Yeah, but overall,
Either you in or you out.
overall they
Don't
support.
compromise your morals, world.
Overall, they
That's
All
support
right.
all
Christian
big
I
values.
religions
think this
doing,
is.
compromising morals.
I think this
I
was
agree over
important.
here.
This was part of your argument. It was actually in your opening statement, so I kind of might know where you're going to go with this. But Fred, are there non-Christian religions whose values could save America where Christianity would fail?
Hell yeah. My yacht would. My yacht would save America. It'll tell every other religion you came from here. We started it first. You return to the one God, and those same 7 principles of Maya will enlighten you. You will get the aha moment. You will know the Ka is the spirit and the Ba is the flesh. So you are the soul in God's creation, walking, living the experience to get the answers to make yourself established. You got to go through life and find out your purpose that God made you. It starts in the womb. The spirit is there as reincarnated before the Ka is, before the baby. So therefore, you're never born in sin. You're always a God spirit, and you come out of a God spirit because God made man. That's what eternal life is. It was a recycle thing. Even the Buddhisms took from Mayat, but at the same time, they already knew that there was a spiritual factor, and they don't like the spiritual revelation that comes to you that you don't get in Christianity. Being saved doesn't include spirituality. Christianity don't, but they can experience spirituality and know it's real. So with my religion, experiencing spirituality comes with knowing oneself. So if you can not experience spirituality and Christianity and be okay with it and think America's gonna be better, you're crazy.
Was Mansa
That's what
Musa?
discernment is. That's what discernment is.
Tommy's trying to call. Hold on, Tommy. We're gonna go to
All right,
open the Discord shortly.
Fred.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an official question, but Raymond 11 says Sumerian was before Ma'at.
Oh snap!
They didn't have a religion.
Wasn't the Sumerians a religion?
Mesopotamia, they lived in huts. They didn't have a religion.
Was Mansa Musa a Ma'at guy?
That was more South Africa, but
Because I want to
it wasn't
tell.
part of Maya.
I mean, based off that, he didn't do very good things with the economy. What's Ma'at gonna do for our economy?
Oh, it restored balance and order. When Moses did those plagues on the let my people go, what was they saying after his plagues? Oh, you trying this trickery magic that we taught you. Now go pick your own wheat. They had caves stored with cereals and everything was abundant. They didn't need to have to work because they had workers that keeps the caves and everything food. Everything was in balance and
Slaves.
order.
Slaves, you mean?
Not slaves.
They had
Workers.
slaves.
They didn't.
They had slaves.
There were no slaves. How can you have slaves when everybody's chilling and everything's in store?
Everybody in
Now
Africa,
you
all the
want to be let
rulers.
free is pick your own wheat. He didn't say now we're gonna stop picking your wheat and y'all slaves pick your own wheat like a slave. He said now go pick your own wheat. He was picking the wheat for him.
The kings were keeping all the wheat and saying, "Go find some left
No, he said go
amongst
pick your own
the
wheat.
scraggles."
Listen, they were like, no, come on, man.
Uh,
And he kept on being polite to him, like he could have smashed him anytime. Like, all right, go take your people wherever. And then y'all wander around. He come down with 10 command call these are the values to live by, but there's 32 more.
You had 42 laws in my eye. I think that we were much more succinct and we summed it up much better.
No,
because I read those 42 laws and it's way too. Come on, it's like tighten it up.
It keeps you in line, connected with the Father, which is the Son God. Without the Son, everything dies. They knew that. It killed bacteria. They even had condoms back then. They had birth control already in effect. They regulated balance and order. That's what the principles of reciprocity.
That's unnatural. That's unnatural. That's degenerate.
No, it's not. They used to use a lamb intestine. It was found in a mummy with a pharaoh.
Yep, I saw that. This question kind of goes right in that you during your rebuttal statement, you mentioned that Christianity is fine with slavery. What about KRST faith? What is it?
No, it's not fine with slavery. Slavery is a Slavic word, and it came from Europe. And you can backtrace the date of the word slave.
It's an English word.
There were no slaves in Egypt.
That's dumb.
That's not dumb.
We're saying an English. We're saying an English word, and you're saying, well, that word came from that English word that you're saying came from a European country. No, duh. That's how English works.
No, the whole system. It was no word because there were no people.
Well, when I say pyramid, I doubt the Egyptians called the pyramids a pyramid, but since I'm saying pyramid, which is an English word, that means pyramids aren't real, right?
No, I'm saying slaves.
Or no, that means we created pyramids. You said we created the word slavery is an English word, therefore slavery came from the white man. Well, the word pyramid is an English word. Did we create the pyramids?
All English words are Latin words.
What I'm saying is that just because we have an English way of saying, I'm sure you had another word for slavery in Egypt.
No.
It was probably like uka, something like that.
No, there was no slavery in Egypt. No. You can Google it. I'll let you use your computer and ask Google one time, were there slaves in ancient Egypt?
Oh my gosh. I already did a whole part of an episode about this, going through all the different African rulers who had slaves and sold slaves. All the 5 major slave trades came from Africa.
You're talking about
the Egyptian slave trade, the South African slave trade, they
were colonized countries that already been colonized.
All right, we got a question actually from the chat.
Came with colonism.
BY says,
colonialism.
Question for both parties: what things do you think are most important to teach to children from your preferred religion, and how would those things benefit America?
Good question.
You want to go first? Go ahead.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you have them done unto you. All the basic stuff, don't steal, don't lie, don't you don't have to tell.
10 Commandments.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments. But you don't even have to go over the 10 Commandments with your kid. You don't have to tell a kid, hey, don't murder somebody, right? But you could tell them, love your neighbor, be nice to your friends, be kind, and love God. And you can pray with them, you can study with them. Don't force it on them. Let them, but they'll naturally come to it if you're, parenting them right. They'll see the light in you and they'll follow it.
Yeah. But now I tell mine to be like,
God, here we go.
Watch out. There's all kind of different cults out there. You feel me? But we started this, and you ain't born in sin. You're a God. God created you in his image. Walk with your chin tall. Do the right things. Don't steal. Don't get mixed in with the foolishness out there, because they lost souls suffering from psychosis of a Bible that was taught to them from their mama, and their mama's in church, old granny.
You're going to tell a kid all this?
Yeah. He going to need to see the world through these focus, and it'll help America. Because either you're going to get into one of these cults and be brainwashed, or you're going to be knowing who you are and how America works through facts and move accordingly. And that's all it's about, baby. Putting the right glasses and the lenses on your kids so they can see straight and not make them believe in Santa Clauses and Jesuses.
You lost, Fred. Guess it said, Freddie, you lost.
Because once they find out you lied to them, you never regain their trust. Lie to your kids all day if y'all want. Y'all don't even know y'all lying. Deceivers that don't know they're being deceived are the most dangerous because they've been deceived and they believe the lie, and it's too hard to wake up from. You got to keep living it. I understand. It hurts. But the information is here. And
You're
God
going to tell a
wants you to know
kid that
that
everybody else is psychotic. That kid is going to grow up hating people.
if you detach from reality, and that's what you're doing with this allegory myth that y'all call
How is loving your
historical.
neighbor as you love yourself? How is that?
Would
What's
you
wrong
give
with
your
that?
neighbor a door key to your house?
No.
Why?
If they were a Christian, if they were
Oh,
good,
listen to your stupid ass.
if they were following good Christian moral values and they were good, decent people, then it'd be
All
like the
right.
old days when everybody left their doors unlocked and the kids went outside and played and didn't get kidnapped and murdered.
All right, Jess.
Yep.
Love your neighbor. You can't tell the wolf from the sheep. All you gotta do is talk their lingo.
What's the best Nightmare on Elm
Aliens
Street?
blend right on in with your kin. I swear I spot one every now and then. Ain't that what Andre said?
I don't
They
know.
be aliens blending on in, looking like your next of kin. Look again.
All right, a question for Josh. What about those who reject Christian values? Not very much of our, or not the entirety of our nation is Christian. How do we impose Christian values on a non-Christian people?
Imposing it, like, so if we had like a whole government revamp and we basically said you had to be Christian to be here, they'd either have to assimilate and try to fool everybody, but they're going to get found out eventually. But the only way you're going to convince people to change their ways and follow your lifestyle is by leading by example, and then when they see the benefits of it, they can't deny it.
They already benefiting before you come to them.
But if they refuse, when we banish them.
All right, a follow-up on that question somewhat.
Anathematized.
America once was a nation run on Christian values. Why did it become what it is today?
To me or Freddie or both?
To you.
Marxism, starting in the 50s-ish, started coming into the country. It started being taught through the media, through just everything.
Marcus Garvey.
Communism. We got
Pan-Africans.
We had the civil rights movement where they were pushing communist ideas, socialist ideas, Marxist ideas,
rights,
pitting the oppressor to the oppressed, and classism and racism, and everything's about this physical nonsense. And we lost sight of God, because Marxism is godless. It has to be.
How you know it ain't compassionate? How you know they ain't trying to love their neighbor like they love theyself?
The core tenet of Marxism is that you think that life is an eternal struggle of the oppressor versus the oppressed. That's not the case. Life is an eternal struggle of good versus evil.
I'm saying the Christians changing their ways from slavery to say we need to help these people by charity through Christianity values in our government. Socialism?
You can't take money from people by
ain't your
force
money.
and
They
give it to other
It
people.
don't
That's
even belong
theft.
to y'all. It got a debt. Y'all owe money. United States has no money.
If you don't work, you don't eat. That's a Christian value.
Well, I'm proving that wrong every day. Ain't I? You used to get your blessings from grace. Now
You prove
get them
it.
from
You're right.
working.
Right. You prove it every day, because we don't have a Christian capitalist society. We have a socialist society more and more every day. Not totally yet, but we are getting there.
No. Until y'all wake up. Who is leading it that way?
Free college, reparations, free health care, the Social Security,
They gotta keep them asleep.
welfare,
It's tokenism.
food
It's tokenism.
stamps, all that stuff is
I'm waking my people up to it. Y'all still sleep to it. Y'all take it more than anybody. Whites on welfare at abnormal rates too.
Thanks for the super chat, Gibson. He said, Freddie, you lost, go to bed. You need to wake up. This man eats Kick cereal with no sugar.
They still make it.
I like Kicks, but I don't think does it really need sugar?
Yeah, Kicks dry as shit. That was that welfare cereal.
All right, I got 2 more prepared questions. One for Fred, one for Josh. So, Freddie, what's one thing that you would add or one thing that you would remove from Christianity that you would make you more open to it?
If you removed the Japhet being blessed and all of that, that'll calm down some stuff in the West Bank. If you took out
hold on, what do you mean? You talking about the Old Testament where he divided up the tribes?
When he said Japhet will inherit land.
What's this? Is that Abraham's?
Noah's kids. Noah's
okay.
kids.
Okay.
Ham got cursed because of Shem. It was Shem, Japhet, and another one. Fuck. But anyway, you know who they are, and they was all the tribes. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like those parts about the dividing up of the tribes.
Racism, yeah, all that racism,
and the curses on some tribes.
Yeah, that's bullshit. And the women, I said that about Adam and Eve. Them supposed to be cursed and having labor pains now, where they get epidurals and C-sections. They sign up to have kids. That had never been a curse.
But now, what if I told you the New Testament and Christ resolves that issue already that you have? You had a problem with how God divided up the tribes and he cursed some of the tribes, but that curse falls away in the New Testament because Christ becomes all of we all can go to Jesus and drop those curses.
No, because he's telling you to be obedient to your master, Jesus himself, right?
Yeah. We're all slaves, either to good or evil.
Oh, that's not dropping no curses.
So you don't like
to that. Me. Get it out of there. Look. And then I had another point. If they take out the S-O-N and make it S-U-N everywhere.
That's a lot of changes.
That's where it came from. Look at Malachi 4:2, everybody.
Every son has to be changed to son. Son
of righteousness. It's already in there.
Sun worship, stargazing. That's a giant ball of gas in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything dies without it.
And you said you had one more?
I'll call it, God. Please come back tomorrow. One more.
Josh,
let's get it.
Josh, how do you think, I guess this is for both of you guys, how do you think other nations would react to a Christian America? Would it help or would it hurt our relationships with other nations?
I think they would cower in fear at our power, and then they would go along or get run over. Roll with us or get run over.
Okay, I'm gonna say no. They gonna
was it a yes or no question?
Revolution like they always do. They tuck and run in they debt. They don't want to pay nobody. And then they just gonna cut off ties and quit supporting countries that they've been draining, and our price is gonna skyrocket because we need comparative advantage to build stuff that's cheap in other countries, and America's too lazy to work. Slavery's over. So nothing Josh is talking about will work because there's too many other Muslim countries if United States gonna be the only Christian one. Yeah.
I don't have a response to
All right. Well, unless I'm not really seeing any other questions. So unless
Yeah,
you guys are gonna do call-ins or something.
No, I think that was pretty good. Oh, we already did. Yeah, we already did closing stands. I don't have anything else. I think we could go get in the Discord chat room,
Okay.
and then if if Gibson or anybody who's in the chat wants to come over there and say their piece, say what they think,
Yeah.
they
Open
could do that.
Discord.
Before we
Come
do,
on,
let
fellas. Don't be
me give a
scared.
formal closing here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from my end, it seemed like Josh made some great points about many aspects of Christian values and how they would help our nation. And Freddie pointed out several problems with the Christian doctrine. From what I heard from both sides of tonight's debate, in my opinion, it seems that Christian values might be a good model to improve our country, but the various denominations need to come together and agree upon what exactly those values are.
That's
So,
true.
to the audience, what did you think of tonight's debate? Did your opinion change at all? Was your opinion strengthened by the arguments you heard today? What did you think of our participants and the points they made? Please let us know in the comments. Thank everyone for watching, and I hope everybody enjoyed the debate. Shout out to the JS Urban Adventures show.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks everybody who
Alright.
came here. We're gonna jump over to the Discord. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this clip from the Dreaded Conservative show every Monday night, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the bell so you know whenever I go live, not just for the Dreaded Conservative show, but for all the game streams and UFC streams and other fun stuff that we do throughout the week. And make sure you comment and share this video with a friend. But until next time, I got a video, I got a playlist. You guys can check those out, but I'm out. Peace.